honey.
Welcome.
Welcome. It is a new month, brand new month. I have to say, I have been so looking forward to this month.
She's vibrating
right now. Wait a minute. Yeah. I am on such a high right now because I have been working so hard. We have been working so hard on this unit that it just has been raising our vibration. Exactly. And it is all about living a high vibe life, right? Yeah. Like, how do you live a high vibe life?
Sounds very surfery, but the point is...
Yes, it is. It's kind of a buzzword right now, which we'll talk about. But it's just such a happy topic, and I'm so elated to be able to, share our thoughts on this and maybe give you some tips of, how you can. Let's break it down. Let's dive in. Yeah. We do have some notes that we always follow along, and I wanted to mention because sometimes we're looking down, but, we spend a lot of time making sure we have, and getting like all the information we want to relay to you, so we don't want to miss anything. So thus the notes, right? Yeah.
All right, let's get it started.
Yeah. Okay. So have you ever noticed that your mood can shift dramatically based on the company you keep?
Exactly.
Or the information that you consume, right?
100%.
So high vibe living is about consciously choosing what nourishes your well-being. So it's nourishing you physically,
mentally,
emotionally,
right?
And then creating the reality and attracting more of all that good stuff
all of the stuff you want.
Yeah, that keeps you tingling on that high. And it's really about flow. And I love that word, and it keeps coming back. Flow of aligned energy and having it work for you. Yeah. Rather than against you, right? So that's exactly what we're striving for. The energy in your life is synergistically and harmoniously synced.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you can think of it like spiritual integration.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And everybody will have a different idea of what a high vibe might be for a time period or for them or in a situation, because we all have different values in our lives, right? And experiences. So it will vary from person to person, but there are many similarities, really. We want this content, we want it to show you all of those sort of possibilities.
We figure you're here, right, for a reason. So we're already in alignment to sort of find something a little bit bigger, a little bit extra in our life, right? That's what we're looking for. That little extra. That saying again, from living an ordinary life to an extraordinary life. Yeah. So the question is, what does living a high life or high vibe life mean to you, right? So think about it. It's going to be different for everyone, as Mel said. We looked it up on Google or dictionary, whatever. Old-fashioned dictionary is Google. And it says that, what is the high vibe lifestyle? It's all about raising your vibration so you have tremendous amounts of energy to realize your ambitions and lift up humanity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because when you're resonating with other people on a higher vibration frequency, again, it goes to physics. I was trying to dive into a little bit of the science of it, and then I decided, no, we don't need to do that for this one.
But we did talk about energy and our energy exchange unit. Yeah. And how it's all interrelated in what we give and what we receive, and everything comes down to that energy. Nikola Tesla, we all know Tesla, famously said, and I quote, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." Yeah. So for me personally, living a high life means just to live in alignment with my goals, my truth, my purpose on a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual level. And when I'm really in the flow of alignment, I can feel it in every...
It's like integrity, right? You feel like your integrity with your fiber, with your being, with your...
And if you don't know if you're in that flow and you're like, how do I know? Okay, you definitely know when you're not in the flow, right? And we'll talk about that in a minute too. So just be aware, start noticing I'm feeling really good. I'm really happy. Actually, I'm going to tell a quick story. It wasn't planned, but I remember when I met my husband in Thailand, and fast forward like a week or two into this holiday, we're still hanging out. I know that he's for me. I just literally had this song playing in my head. Today I met the boy I'm going to marry, which is weird. But anyway, so we're riding on the scooter. I'm on the back. We're in beautiful Thailand. It's hot and sunny. He's in front. I'm holding on. I had the most embarrassingly biggest smile on my face. I kept thinking, please don't turn around. I was so happy. I was in the highest vibe I had ever felt. And all I could think of, felt like I was floating. I was just so incredibly happy. My heart was so full of love. And I remember just thinking, and I had a conversation with the universe at that moment. And I said,
don't start crying.
Okay. She knows me. If this is meant to be, please do not let geography get in our way from this being something that it's meant to be. Because he was living in England, I was, and he's English, I was in Vancouver, and totally different lives. And anyway,
working on the ships at the time.
Yeah, I was working on cruise ships, so I was on a break heading out to Alaska. It was just this is it gonna work? And I just had this total confidence that it was 100% in alignment. We both said that our grandmothers up in heaven, they must be hanging out and connected us. They set us up. So it was just the most perfect alignment, high vibe I've ever felt. And I tap into that when I need it too. So that's important to remember, just the feeling and the emotion connected. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself, but that's when you can tap into that. So, what are these buzzwords, Mel, that we're talking about?
Buzzwords are, what we said, it is frequency, vibration, the energy, all of that, the resonating frequencies, right? So
we hear those all the time, right? And they're kind of trendy right now. Live a high vibe, whatever.
It might kind of be like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
mean?
So let's put it in context of reality in our lifestyle. So what does it mean? A high vibe life emphasizes cultivating positive vibrations and
high energetic frequencies.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the context of living a high vibe, the term vibration is used metaphorically, right? So it's referring to the energetic state of your being, encompassing your thoughts, emotions, all your actions. And it's a high vibration often associated with, higher frequency things that we do and the exchange, right?
But from that perspective of vibration and frequency, it is literal as well, because we are just a bunch of cells and some liquids, right?
Yeah.
Thrown together, and we're always moving like this. Every cell, we look like a solid state thing, but we aren't. We're just resonating cells that are lumped together, really. So there is a lot of literalness to it
and
as well.
Literal science behind it, right? Yeah. So if we think of it like a spectrum, okay, so think of a light spectrum. Vibration is the movement of the light.
Yeah.
Frequency is the color. So high frequency, bright, vibrant colors.
Yes.
Low frequency are duller colors. And then the energy is the overall light radiating outwards from it, right?
Exactly. Interconnected. These terms are all interrelated. So your thoughts and your emotions create a vibration within you, and the intensity of the vibration, that determines your energetic frequency. This frequency radiates outward, right? This is what people go, man, she's like glowing, or you know what I mean? That kind of a day, right?
Yes.
And that influences your own well-being and your potential impact of those around you as well.
Right. So what are we talking about? What is this impact? And it's by maintaining this high vibration, that the belief is that you are to attract positive experiences and other people, everything positive and full into your life, right? And it's also not about denying the negative stuff or the negative emotions that come in, but just acknowledging them and then consciously making that shift of focus towards the positive.
Exactly. Because again, life is still going to have negative, right? Ups and downs, roller coaster. That's frequency too.
Yeah.
But we want to align ourselves with the more compelling frequency and just understand that the other happens. But it also gives us a yin yang, right? It makes us understand what the good is when we have the bad.
Yeah.
Boy, we're going.
So it's not all woo woo. Like people think, ooh, this is woo woo, this is that spiritual or that kind of hippie talk, whatever. But no, there is the real science between this energy and attracting it and putting it out there. And it's about being intentional. So living a high vibe life, you have to be intentional. You have to make intentional choices. And we talk about intentionality a lot in Power and Aging in our program. And, choosing where you put your focus and your energy, the small choices that we make on a daily basis, not just necessarily big life-changing choices, right? How do you start your day? Do you wake up happy? Are you smiling? You know,
Are
like,
you grateful?
I personally didn't get a lot of sleep last night, and I was like, oh my gosh, we have to film this today, and how we're gonna. I said, no, I'm actually like gonna use that. Like, I love talking about this. It makes me happy. So I chose to put myself in a good mood in spite of lack of sleep or whatever, right?
Isn't that great?
I mean, I can't do it all the time, let's be honest. We're human. But I'm trying. Like, that's the goal, right? Making those choices. What are you going to put in your body for breakfast?
Exactly. Because
you talk a lot about that.
Yeah, because energy and frequency of living foods is going to make a difference for you, right? So if you're you know, choosing to have processed fake foods all the time, then that's going to bring your vibration down, your frequency, your energy levels of each individual cell.
Yeah.
So this is our vessel. We have to choose what we want to do with
your body is your temple. You hear that, but it's true, right?
Yeah.
And then making choices like how you want to represent yourself, right? So how are you carrying yourself into the world? How do you walk into the room? How do you own it? What colors do you choose to wear, right? Like for me, I love the green orange combo. Like it makes me happy, right? We all have like power colors that give us that kind of oomph in our step or energy, and we know when we're wearing something very drab or blah, or we didn't take the time to, you know, do our hair or feel our best, right? We're not necessarily representing our best self. So sometimes like I know beauty comes from within, absolutely, but you can actually really help by, you know, making yourself feel better with your, you know, your self-care and
absolutely
hygiene practices.
Exactly. So then you have to remember the law of attraction, right? So that's all part of that. And that's our thoughts, emotions, actions, and they emit a vibration or a form of energy, which is the same sort of thing. And that can influence your reality, right? So our thoughts become our reality.
Always.
Which is all energetic. So focusing on these positive intentions and how you want your day to go can attract similar energy. So ultimately it's a manifesting. So be intentional and choose what you want, what your thoughts are and what your actions are and what your words are, what you speak to other people as well.
Yeah, words matter.
They do.
We talk about that in our communication part. Yeah.
Whether they're words about yourself, oh damn, why did I do that? You're so dumb.
Self-talk. Or
if they're, you know, to your kids, to your spouse, to your friends, to your neighbors, you just want to, you know, roll back that first, you know, thing that you might say and say something
Take
thoughtful.
That moment to think.
That's right. Mindfulness.
Yeah.
Right? Be mindful of it.
And the concept of high vibe living it stems from holistic practices, but there is growing research, right? Like highlighting not only the science, but that, you know, there's the positive impact from being mindful, gratitude, as Mel mentioned before, positive thinking, physical well-being, all of it cultivates this high vibe life. So we have to kind of take it all into consideration, not just positive thinking. It's great, but it goes beyond that, right?
Portion of the whole thing.
Right. It's going to encompass everything, healthy habits, better choices, as we talked about.
Exactly.
There's a great quote by Esther Hicks. Do you want to read it, Mel?
Yes. When you practice good feeling thoughts and are therefore more in control of your vibrational atmosphere, then you're able to respond to the things that are happening in the world from your practiced place of alignment rather than from a reactionary place.
Yeah.
That's what the art of allowing is all about. And you know, we've all had reactionary moments, right?
Yeah.
So take that and remember how that made you feel, because it's a release of energy. Again, it is an energetic thing happening, the frequency, the vibration. So you're releasing that from yourself, from the irritation you might have had. But in so doing that, how did you feel after? You know, like it might have been a release at the moment, but how, because of what you said or did or whatever, how did that make you feel energetically after that release? So it might be other ways that you can looking at that frequency and that vibration and releasing.
And we all know that you can change those frequencies and energy. We even talked about clapping before in one unit, I can't remember.
Exactly.
But just changing the literal energy of that moment in the physical
specific
space
area,
and then it changes everything, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So let's break it down into like maybe 4 areas. We all know, you know, there's tons of benefits of living on a high vibe, right? Sure. There's everything that, you know, but we are going to break it down into 4 little units just to kind of make it a little easier to swallow.
Yeah. So the first one is enhanced mental and emotional well-being, which who can't do with a little bit of that, right?
Heck yeah.
You know, we need to reduce stress and anxiety. That's common. And by focusing on positive practices, mindfulness, you equip yourself with better tools to manage stress and navigate challenging situations.
Yeah, and it increases also mentally, emotionally, your happiness and like overall, you know, optimizing all your, you know, your joy and all the, you know, happiness and fulfillment. Yeah. So positive outlooks allow you to see the brighter side of things. I think that's important, finding those silver linings, right? And leading to that greater sense of joy and fulfillment overall.
And then there's improved resilience with that, right? Yeah. This high vibration approach fosters a growth mindset, making you better equipped to bounce back from setbacks and challenges.
Yeah.
Right?
So that's one area. So that's kind of like the mental and emotional. Then there's the physical positive benefits, right? There's like the overall stronger immune system. It literally, you know, gives you that extra burst of life, right? That's going to keep you healthy. Studies suggest that a positive correlation between the positive emotions and lifestyle that we're leading can also bring on a positive and stronger immune response.
Absolutely, because when we're sick, we feel down and crappy and tired and fatigued and all of this stuff. So improving your sleep quality is also going to help with all of these things, immune system as well, right? So reducing the stress and a calmer mind can significantly enhance sleep quality, leading to increased energy levels the next day, because we know that one leads to the other.
Yeah, and it also lends into making better choices. So I would say under the physical side of things, healthier lifestyle choices, adopting healthy habits like exercising, movement, better food choices, dietary, you know, choices, things like that. So it all lends into each other.
Yeah. Then we have number 3, which is our interpersonal relationships. And that can be things like stronger bonds between people, right? So a positive and uplifting energy naturally attracts other people. You might notice that in different phases of your life that you were low, and that attracted certain people. And when you're higher,
100%.
Yeah, when you're in a higher vibration and feeling good and confident, well, you attract a different type of people, and people are way more attracted to you in general in that state. So
I've had that happen several times. I can actually pinpoint, I won't name any names, but of people that, because of the place I was at, I attracted them, and then I realized, oh, this isn't where I normally am on my high vibe. So, whoa, I could not stay in that energy, and I had to just gently release them, because honestly, we talked about energy vampires, and they're like I picture them grabbing at our ankles, and we're like up on this high vibe, and they're like pulling you down to this low energy, and it's just not healthy, right? So
we want more meaningful connections. So in order to do that, to have those deeper meaningful connections, you gotta reach for the people with the stronger bonds, the energetically stronger ones.
Yeah, and I think having that sort of higher vibrational energy also helps you with communication. Absolutely. It encourages more clear and empathetic communication. It leads to better conflict resolution, and just stronger, deeper relationships as well.
Yeah, I think so. And then there's positive influence. And by radiating positive influence, positive energy rather, you inspire and uplift those around you, and that creates a ripple effect. Again, that's what people sense.
That's the flow. It's the, you know, and Mel said the ripple effect, right? Like if I walk into a room and everyone's like this, but I throw some positive energy, I mean, it's going to change it. You know, they might be like resistant to it, but it's eventually, you know, it just does affect everything, doesn't it?
When you would walk into the kitchen, for example.
Oh, I know that story. Yeah. At a restaurant, not a personal kitchen. And
grumpy kitchen.
A grumpy kitchen. And I wasn't going to let their energy suck me down. So I'm like, I'm going to kill them with kindness. That's I know they didn't like it, because it was just against their energy vibe. And some of them rejected it, and some of them actually smiled and like it kind of turned things around.
It rubbed off a bit. So.
And finally, the fourth area for all of the great benefits of living this high vibe is your personal growth and development. You increase your self-awareness, right? You're focusing on the positive aspects of your life and yourself, and it's really fostering self-compassion and a deeper understanding of your own strengths, right? We're focusing now on all the things you're good at, all your wins, all the positives, and less on your weaknesses, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Then you also have greater creativity and problem solving, right? So A positive outlook allows you to think outside of the box more effectively and more quickly. The approach at these challenges with a solution-oriented mindset instead of this always happens to me.
Yeah.
Or
and it does trigger creativity too.
Oh, absolutely.
You feel that little sparkle of, I don't know.
We got this. We can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
There have been lots of challenges in our businesses and our different things, and there's two ways to approach it, right? Or okay, what can we do to remedy this, right?
Always. There's always that way of looking at it and changing it into a more positive, right? And then there's the goal, achievement, and success. So you are more likely to hit those goals and be successful when you're in this sort of high vibe state, right?
With focus and attention and
motivation. Yeah, it just propels you more towards your goals. Like
more perseverance.
Yeah, you just feel like, I don't know, a little bit more oomph or get up and go, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And why it matters, I thought this was kind of important to say, because living a high vibe life isn't about perfection, right? It's about striving for a positive and intentional way of being. It is a practice, right? It's like anything, we get better as we practice. It empowers us to navigate the world authentically with perseverance, integrity, and a commitment to ourself and our self-care, all while also contributing to a brighter and more positive community. So we're giving it back, right? We're putting it out there. We're being the light, right? And putting it out there.
Exactly. Because we know there is nothing perfect in this world and with human beings, but we can certainly strive for all the smile at the good things, basically.
Yeah, keep the focus there. And we don't want to really dive in too much to the negatives, but there is always the other side of things, right? So we have the benefits of staying on a high vibe. We also have what happens when we don't stay on a high vibe, when we kind of live on this mediocre or lower vibration on a daily basis, right? It's, things that come into our lives that provoke that, maybe the saboteurs, right, that want to keep us down, those energy vampires we mentioned, the demons of our past or our own life that make us stay focused in that low vibe energy. We could have an accident or a mishap or anything like that. It all brings us down. And again,
we can either be wrapped up in that, or we can flip the coin, look for the brighter side of things, right?
So we're not going to harp on it too much, but we want you to be aware of where these things are popping up and why maybe you can't get out of this low vibe. So let's talk a little bit about what disrupts our high vibe flow. Just for our own awareness. So
that can be things like, a string of like bad events, they say things happen at least in threes, right?
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh my gosh, how do I get through this?
Yeah. And then it knocks you right off path, right? Like they say, get back on the saddle. But if it's a string of events, that's going to knock you down. And ruts, like the same ruts that you can't get out of, maybe financial difficulties. You just can't dig yourself out of that rut. Or like, maybe you're trying to lose weight and you just have a continuous lack of willpower. You have a good day, bad day. You just can't, you're out of control that way.
Bad relationships. Maybe they're having
especially the cycles of bad relationships. It just keeps you on this vibe. You get out of one and who do you attract again? You're still on that low vibe. You're going to pull in another bad vibe relationship, right? And bad habits as well, addictions, things like that, things you just can't shake. So those are some things that can come up as well.
Yeah, and you might dwell on negative experiences, things like, a minor argument that you had a week ago, and it's still just, you're again ruminating that instead of.
It overshadows anything else in the positive day. Yeah. So a lot of people will fixate on something negative or an inconvenience, like a flat tire, and you forgot about the whole rest of the day, where you went, what you did, what all the good things. You're just fixating.
It's where we put our focus, right? So you remember critical feedback that you might have gotten from people rather than the compliments, the good things.
How many of you do that? Seriously.
Oh yeah.
Somebody could tell you it looks beautiful, everything, all this, and then one person says, something, and all you do is you think about that one negative thing that person noticed. You forget all those positive, wonderful things, right? Like you could get 10 compliments, one criticism, and you're just dwelling on that negative feedback, right?
You could be stuck in victim mode as well. That's a common thing, and that's super low vibration, right?
Yeah.
So we don't want to be there, and you might find it really hard to pull yourself out.
It's like a comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
So for some people, staying a victim is a comfort zone.
Yeah,
I would say.
you get used to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's something we found as well in our research called the happiness paradox. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
Yeah, and it refers to the counterintuitive notion that, you know, directly chasing happiness can sometimes be detrimental to achieving it. So, you know, like if you should always give to other people and not focus on yourself, right? Because that will make you happier to just give and not focus on yourself.
Right.
It's almost like martyrdom in a sense, right? I'm a big fan of thinking that you need to take care of yourself first. Mel and I talk about this, the oxygen mask. It's not selfish to take care of yourself first so that you are your best version of you, and you can then take care of other people, right? You can't live that high vibe if you're only focusing on making other people, you know.
And that doesn't negate
that
helping other people can make you happy and make you fulfilled in many ways. But not if it's extremes, right? So if you're only doing that, only focusing on everything for everybody else, that will drain yourself, and then eventually other things will happen. So again, it's a balancing act, right?
Yeah, and it's getting yourself in the right state before you're ready to help other people. Then you're much stronger to do that, right?
Absolutely.
Another thing that low vibes like bring about or whatever is when people are always focusing on like the destination rather than the journey, right? So we're like, oh, what's my end result? And they don't actually live in the moment, right?
Being present,
right? So always striving to get that, but never arriving, right? Because you dangle that carrot,
what you have right here.
You're always going to want it. Even when you get to that one goal, it's like, what's the next goal? What's the next goal? You're not actually living in the moment, enjoying it. And Mel, you had mentioned in our notes as well about our trip to Blue Cliff.
Yeah. So again, that was really focused on being mindful, being present in the moment. We did mindful walking journeys.
It was a Buddhist monastery that we went to
awesome.
like a retreat or
5-day sort of getaway, and we wouldn't speak for half the day.
It's hard for me.
It is hard for her. But it was lovely just the same, right? It was great reflection time. It was great time to just really go within and feel,
be present.
Be present and mindful.
Not think about all the stuff that else. And so just to kind of wrap up the whole negative area, a couple other things that we do that sabotages is comparison. We're always comparing ourselves with other people. We're obsessing over achieving this happiness, and then we're feeling inadequate, and it hinders really what we're trying to do, and we don't have this, we don't focus on the appreciation.
Right, that's judging ourselves again, and that's the bad part of the ego, is that we're trying to the negative self-talk and all of that sort of stuff that comes into play when we think when we're comparing, right? It's not about what they have and that you have to have the same, or it's better than what you have. It's about appreciating what they have for themselves, and then still being okay with who you are and where you are. Yeah, exactly.
And not seeking validation from them too, because that's the other one. Like we sometimes look for these outward external validation, social validation in the group. We have to fit in. We have to, we want to be liked. Maybe material possessions. Like I feel like I am now worthy that I have because I have, a certain amount of material, items or whatever. But we know really living on a high vibe has nothing to do with having that dream cottage, which would be nice.
Sure.
But, that's not going to validate you, right? No. We're talking about having riches within.
And some of the happiest high vibration people have the least, right? They live in sunshine.
Very simple lives.
Simple homes, simple lives.
But they
don't accumulate things.
The happiness, right? And the love. So just to sum up the negative part, it can really drain our energy and our motivation. We stay stuck on this low vibe because we're focusing solely on the problems, right? Rather than recognizing the opportunities, right? So again, switching that focus, reframing the situation.
Exactly. So we have a question for you. What would living a high vibe life look like to you, right?
Yeah.
Take a minute, close your eyes.
Yeah.
Go in there. Yeah. Like most visualizations or imagery exercises, try and picture the full picture, right? Like every little detail about it.
Yeah. So you can do this right now with us, and or you can pause, come back to it. But yeah, let's walk them through it a little bit. Yeah.
So what does it sound like? Do you hear birds? Do you hear water? What does it taste like? Is there some sort of taste in your mouth that you're sensing? Do you smell fresh air? Do you smell flowers around you?
What does and let's go back to what's it look like? Are there colors? Is there some energy, sparkles? Are there flashes of light coming through? Or do you see actual scenery? Are you like on the top of a mountain?
Yeah.
Are you on a beach? Where is your ultimate high vibe place?
Yeah, it's so individual.
Yeah. What are you feeling? What does it feel like in your body physically? Where are you feeling it? Are you getting tingles? Are you feeling your third eye opening up? And really tap into the emotion that it's evoking. Are you feeling sheer joy? Are you feeling elated or love in your heart? Really tap into this emotion when you're picturing this beautiful high vibe space that you're in. And space physically and metaphorically. Yeah.
Yeah, this special space just for you. So that's a great tool. It's a great thing to do to bring yourself into just feeling better, really quickly.
And you might check your mindful moment. I'll actually give you a little walkthrough of this, but it's really about embracing that you can go to this moment and this space and this high vibe anytime you want. And it's as simple as closing your eyes and using all your senses. And that sensory work is so important to really evoke these feelings of that high vibe. So you could be in the worst place. You could be in prison, and living with this, reality of very, very low vibrational, negative energy and space. And you can go there in your conscious and subconscious mind and just literally focus on everything that brings you that's high vibes.
Yeah.
So it's amazing what our imagination can bring.
That's right.
And it lifts our high vibe.
Absolutely.
And then it becomes our reality, right? Because
your mind is so
your
strong.
thoughts have just created it, so it is real, right?
Absolutely. So we'll go into some more areas of living a high vibe life next week.
Yeah.
But we want to work with you on it this week. Tap into your feelings. Try that visualization exercise in more depth a little later. For now, let's remember a few things that we can try this week.
Yeah, we want you working on it this week, not waiting for the end, say, oh, I'll try that, wait for the tips and tools.
Yeah, exactly.
So just a couple of those things that we want you to try this week is power of mindset, right? Stay positive. If you believe you can do it, focus on a conscious and intentional approach, right? That you're prioritizing your well-being, your positivity, and that it's in alignment with your values and sense of fulfillment, right?
Exactly.
So you're thinking about it, you're putting it out there.
Live in intention and integrity. This is a big one. Make each choice intentionally, mindfully, and make sure it resonates with you, that it will keep your vibration high.
So important.
Choose what energy you give out and what energy you're willing to receive, okay? Make sure that it's in alignment with all of your values in general. You'll feel so much better.
Yeah, and most importantly, be the light. Just always envision yourself radiating this beautiful light, which you do, and you do it naturally, but put it out there intentionally and consciously. Just, you've heard the expression, be the light. What does it mean? It just means you're choosing to illuminate, right? Rather than diminish.
Right.
You're spreading the light. You're not playing small. Exactly. You're walking into a room, you're owning it. You
know your self-worth.
Yes, you know it, and you're
your voice speaking.
Putting it out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How else can you practice living a higher vibration this week? Plan it. Commit to it.
Yeah.
Practice it. Keep it in your daily thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from our heart to yours, we want you to just keep shining bright. And then we'll look forward to writing some more high vibes with you next week. See ya.